Namaskar dosto. Today I wanted to make another little vlog. I have made it to Thailand. I came here, as I said, to get a visa, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. I'm not sure, maybe you have been here before, but beautiful nature, beautiful people, beautiful cars, buildings, so many things that are very beautiful, and it's really nice to be here to spend some time. And just had some thoughts. Yesterday I went to a lecture to the local temple here in Pattaya, and the person who was giving the lecture, he was a brahmachari. He was wearing saffron. He was a renounced person, and he was saying a very important thing which I remembered from the lecture. I was actually translating the lecture for my family members from Hindi to English. I actually figured out that I know a lot more Hindi than I expected, because I translated the lecture pretty much, I would say 90%, 95% even. And he said many things. He was talking about the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Yejana Paripasate, Tesham Nitya Bhayuktanam, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham, which the meaning of the shloka is very divine. And it says that Krishna, for his devotees and those who surrender unto him, those who put their faith into Krishna, they are able to, he actually does that for them. He keeps or bestows them what they want and protects what they have. So he was telling many stories about many wonderful activities and personalities who had that happen. Maybe I'll tell you a story also. But the main point was that he said that the idea is to put that faith into the Lord, have that ashraya in Krishna, in the Supreme Personality of God, in Vishnu, in the divine. And then in that way, once we have that faith, then we understand, we believe that the Lord will protect us and give us everything that we need. Then it's very simple. Then we don't have so many desires, because now everybody wants, now that I'm here in Thailand, there's so many fancy cars. There is a beautiful new MG car, then there is another car here, and then I saw many Mercedes, many BMW. There's a full parking right here of very fancy cars. But the more desires that we have, and this is what the brahmachari was saying, the more desires that we have, the more difficult our life becomes. The more we think of, okay, I need to work more, I need to get more paisa, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then he was asking, it was very, very funny. I really found it very interesting that he asked this one person that was sitting in the classroom. He said, if let's say 100% is the money that you're making, how much of that are you able to eat? Is it 10%? He said no. Is it 5%? He said no. Maybe 1%. So he said, you're working 100% of your time, or at least a lot of your time, to make this much money, and then you're not even eating 1%. What is the point? The dog gets to eat without working. The elephant, the tiger, all the other animals in this world, they eat. They just go and eat. They don't have to work. They don't have to do so many things. But we are the most intelligent species. We're human beings, and we spend all our intelligence on figuring out how to make money, so then we can live in a nice place, drive something nice, and eat some nice food. What is the point? So this was a very beautiful point that he made. He also told a story that I really liked and remembered, which is beautiful. He was telling a story about this panda who is originally from Jagannath Puri, and he is called Gita Panda because he was a traditional Brahmin. He lived in Jagannath Puri, and he was begging. He lived by begging. He performed Madhukari. I'm sure maybe you know what that is. He would go out every day and he would beg for alms, beg for food that he could get, and then that food him, his wife, and 3 children would eat. And now in India it's actually quite interesting. It's rainy season, so it was rainy season at that time, and he couldn't go out because the rain was so strong that he couldn't go out and beg for food for his family. And he was a Brahmin. He was begging. His wife was at home. His children were very young, so he didn't go out. because it was raining. Nobody would give him any food, and it was, very difficult, especially in India when it rains. At least in West Bengal, nobody comes for work because they know, well, I will get wet. I don't want to do that. So for 3 days he didn't go out, and his wife came and she was very mad. She was pissed. She said, no, you have to go out. What will we eat? We finished everything that we had in our house. We're very hungry. Your children, they're gonna die of starvation. He said this. He took Bhagavad Gita, which he was reading every day. He was reading the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and then he was reading the Gita because it was raining. He was happy. He was blissful. He was just reading, doing his bhajan. And so he took out the Bhagavad Gita and showed her this shloka. I think it's the 9th chapter, 22nd shloka. Nanyas chintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nitya biyuktanam yogakshema vahamyam. He said, so the Lord will protect everything that we have, and he will give us what we need. Have some faith. Then she got really upset at him because she said, no, you're not going out. You have to go out. You have to beg. You have to do your part. And then, where is your Lord now? Why is he not giving us food? We're starving. So she took a red pen and then she scratched out that shloka from the Gita that he had. And then it was already evening time. The Brahmana went to do his Sandhyavandanam and take some rest. And then when he was taking some rest after Sandhyavandanam, then someone knocked on the door to their house, and the wife opened and she saw two beautiful boys, and they had lots of prasadam, lots of food. They brought baskets of food of different bhoga, different sabjis, different tarkar, different paneer butter masala, palak paneer, paratha, roti, chawal, biryani, everything that you wanted to eat. They brought, and then they gave it to her. They said, this is for our friend. And she said, what friend? Said, your husband, the Brahman. And then she said, okay, thank you so much. Then she took the food from them. She said, okay, you want to come in? You want to sit down? You want to eat with us? They said, yes, we'll come in. So they came in. And then she said, please take some prasadam, take some food also. Then they said, we cannot eat. Our tongues are cut. So we cannot eat the food. It will hurt us. So she said, okay, well, what can I do for you? She said, just take this and give it to our friend. That's it. We will be happy. And then they left. And then she went to her husband. She woke him up. She shook him. She says, your friends brought you some food. And then he woke up. He said, which friends? I have only one friend. He was referring to the Lord. And then he said, which friends? What food? And then she told him the whole story, how it happened, everything. And then he asked her, did they eat? And she said, no, they said their tongues were hurt. They were, scratched. And then, because he was a Brahman, he was a pure devotee of the Lord, he understood what actually happened. He understood that it was her, the wife, when she scratched out that shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, that it hurt the Lord and his brother. It was Jagannath and Baladev. They came and they were hurt. They gave this prasadam, and he understood, and he was, very blissful because he got prasadam from the Lord himself. But he was also very sad. He said, what happened? I am doing so much austerity. I am reading every day. I'm trying to perform this service, and still I don't get to see the Lord. My wife gets to see the Lord. So he is very, very sad. But this proves that the shloka works, and this was not that long ago. This was maybe 200 years ago. So we gotta have some faith. And I really liked that I went to the temple, did some meditation. We participated in kirtan. There was katha. So it's beautiful. Anywhere you go, even in Pattaya, in Thailand, there is people who meditate, who chant mantras, who perform this type of sadhanas, and etc. So take advantage, take opportunity. Yeah, I wanted to share this today with you.